recently the GenCon housing lottery has opened. For those of you who don't go to GenCon, I'm sure you probably still heard of this, but essentially GenCon, which is in Indianapolis, they, early on in the year, they'll open up the housing. You register to go, and then past that, it's like on a Saturday, you register for your ticket or whatever, and then depending on, on Sunday, you choose to enter the housing lottery, and it puts you into a queue, right? And the queue, for us, we got in, I think it was like an hour and 16-minute wait. So a couple of years ago, they started this. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before. I'm pretty sure it's going on this is like the third year with it, I believe. And I guess it's because their server was having a lot of issues with having thousands and thousands, 60,000 people jumping at one time to try to register their room and for the housing. And it's just like the supply and demand of hotels now is just crazy. Because when we started going, I've been every year since 2003 when it came out in Indy from the West Coast. And I think you've been 6 or 7 years now, right?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you exactly, but it's been a while.
Yeah. So let's ask this question. How excited are you about this lottery system?
Well, I mean, me personally, I've never had to deal with it because you or Chris or someone else always gets the room. But just from what I've heard about it, I mean, it had issues. I think they fixed it somewhat, though, with the how long you're going gives you somewhat of a priority now, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly how it was before, but now it's like depending on the number of days that you pick or nights or whatever, it gives priority to the downtown hotels for people who are staying at least Saturday and probably like Friday night, Saturday night.
Right, as it should, because I think, maybe I'm wrong, but I think part of the issue was a lot of people going 1-2 days, and then that eliminates all the 4-night stays for a lot of people because they're not there, or unless they would break it up for you. I don't know if hotels are doing that or not. Like you do two nights in one room and go 2 nights in another or something, but
I think you could do that. I don't remember. I remember the first year they did this lottery. It was literally you could do 1 day, I believe, and pick from anywhere. It's just randomly. It's just kind of like a first come first serve. It just depends on what position you got to pick.
Right.
I could be wrong on that because the first year we had somebody else doing it, so it was a lot of conversation with them and stuff I read. So I mean, I could be a little bit wrong, but I guess just to focus on what's happening now in the now. It's kind of the next thing I was going to bring up about it is, do I like the way it's handled? Well, I mean, there's not a lot of ways you can handle this, right? Because I mean, what if you let your customers do it, like pick what they want, then it is just a fist fight. It's like a Black Friday of a GenCon,
right?
And trying to pick your hotel room like it was before. It's really good that at least, I know I've heard stories where people will call the hotel and be like, hey, I stayed there last year. Can we get our hotel back, our same room or whatever? And then I've heard of some shady dealings going on to where people are getting their room outside of the housing portal. Now, whether or not that's happening before,
like they got inside people?
Yeah,
or?
They know people.
Oh, wow.
Where's our people?
Yeah, we need people.
So, and I don't know, because I knew some people that said that they've been in the same room ever since 2003.
Impossible.
Not the same room. Sorry, same hotel.
Oh.
Same hotel.
Well, maybe.
That makes more sense, right? And so it's like, how do you get in there now? What are you doing to do this? I mean, really, the hotels should be held accountable for that or something. But
right.
It's just kind of irritating because sometimes, for the longest time, we were staying, literally within walking distance, right? We can use the little skywalks or whatever they are, the little bridges. You might have had to walk a block, but you're indoors. There's no rain issues and things like that. And, I mean, yeah, you still got to pay a crazy amount for parking regardless because, I mean, it's not included in your hotels usually. But now we're 10, 15 miles away. You're talking a 15-minute drive. Well, this year we're only 3 or 4 away. So It's really just, or actually we're 3 miles away. So, I mean, we've walked that before. It's not fun, and that was before we started buying bags and bags of board games.
Yes.
So, I don't know. I don't know how it can be handled differently other than just spawning new hotels there. But, I mean, unlike games, you can't just place them on your turn.
Well, I don't know if I don't know if this could be an issue. A lot of times these places, cities and contracts like this, housing goes hand in hand. I mean, who knows that GenCon might come to them and go, hey, man, we outgrown your city. You need to start popping up some hotels or
I think they are building some, if I remember correctly, but yeah, I think that's really the only thing that can happen. You need more housing. And the other thing is, since Gen Con's getting bigger, right, you're getting more vendors. They're expanding the vendor area and things like that. They're going into Lucas Oil Stadium. And so, like, a lot of the close hotels are being held for the vendors and trade day and people like that to get in there. So a lot of that hotel space is being used up by the vendors and things, which makes sense, right? Because they're the ones that kind of drives the show. They're bringing in the budget and stuff. You know, we're only paying like what, $90 or something like that for the week,
right?
Just to go. And then if we spend money, great. If we don't, but I mean, all that money's being to the vendor that you're buying stuff from. So, I'm not excited about how it's handled, but I understand it. I think people probably freak out a little too crazy over it. It's just the only thing I will say, and maybe we'll wrap it up with this, unless you got anything else, is that at least do something that benefits the tenure of your audience, your customer base. Right. So people who have literally been going to Gen Con, I think Gen Con on the website, which would be very bad to implement now because some people don't have accounts. But when you created an account, it gave you a member number and something like that where you can give people incentives for coming back.
Yes.
Because one year you can go and get a really nice hotel, and the next year you get something crap, and it's like 15 miles away, but you've been going for 20 years.
Yes.
Like, that's not very fun for them. And they have that VIP gamer thing or whatever, MVP gamer thing. And if I understand correctly, it was like that's offered to the same people every year. Unless you decline it, then it goes back into the pool.
Right.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but I don't know. But we just wanted to talk about that because that was really recent. We did get a decent hotel, so that was nice, but
it worked out for us this year.
Yep.
I mean, it's
what's going to happen next year.
Yeah, to go on your point with the tenure thing, you got people. I didn't in my first years of going to Gen Con, I had no clue, but you got people flying in. When you talk to them, they're from Canada, they're from Oregon, and they've been coming 10 years, and they're getting thrown down the road.
That's true. Yeah, and I guess we have to be a little bit grateful because, I mean, we really aren't that far away.
No, we're not.
We're an hour and a half. We're in Louisville, Kentucky.
Right.
So, maybe it's kind of cheesy for us to complain that we're not. I'm not really complaining that I'm not walking to it. But
but at the same argument though, as the benefit should be across the board on that though. I mean,
I think the tenure thing should be is a really good incentive. Like,
yes,
you are a lasting person. But I guess the counter argument to that is if we get new people to come, we want them to have a greater experience. And then you're already hooked, so I get it. I get it. It's a marketing thing.
Yeah, that's true. I guess you don't think of that, but yeah.